know, the city of San Bruno is going through its own budget crisis. Very, very difficult for us now. But, you know, we can live with a pothole here and there. We can live with another hour to get a library book if we have to. But to cut a music program or to double a class size because the teacher's gone is totally unconscionable. Just
right on, Jim.
The state of California has to look to the future, not next year's budget or the year after, but 15 or 20 years down the road, because this is the future, and these are the kids here that are going to be governing this city and being the future teachers. We can't Once again, we welcome your efforts today, and we'll support you as much as we possibly can. I'd like to introduce Assemblyman Jerry Hill.
Thank you, Jim, and Alcina, Jessica, and Veronica. Now that is something. They are I got some competition next year. I can tell you that right now. I want you to know I just drove down from Sacramento to be here for this rally. And I did that because this is so important. Susanna, you've been doing such a tremendous job of bringing people together, and that's what we have to do. Today was really the first step of the budget process as we move forward. We did a vote earlier today, late this morning, and that vote was the first step to protect education. What we did is we took a bill, it's a transportation bill, that would have cut Prop 98, for all of you know Proposition 90, would have cut the funding for Prop 98 in the future. What we did is we changed that bill so that it would not have any negative effect on education as it moved forward. It took our efforts to do that, but we did it. That's the first step. That's the first step that what we need to do the rest of this year to protect education. But your job isn't done yet. Today is your first step, and I'll tell you why. Last year, there were polls done around this state that indicated that the citizens of California were willing to go to do a balanced approach to balance our budget, meaning they wanted some cuts and they were willing to accept some revenue increases. And that's what we did last year. There were some cuts and some revenue increases. Sadly enough, the polling that was released last week shows a reversal of that. Now, they don't want the increases in revenue. They want us to balance the budget with cuts only. And that's what we have to change. And what you're doing today is that first step. Because you have to transfer this and carry it not just from San Bruno City Hall and not just from El Camino or Raul, but the movement has to go around the state to those districts where there are representatives that don't feel the way or the passion that we have in San Mateo County and the city of San Bruno. So that's my advice. That's what I need you to do. I need you to help me in Sacramento, because those legislators need to hear from you and their parents and their children, and there's the speeches from the future politicians of California. Thank you for being here. Thank you for giving what you've given us, which is our future and the children that you have here today. And you're doing this not just for them, I know. You're not doing this for yourselves. You're not doing this for the next generation. You're doing this for the generations that we'll never know. And that's the future of California. Thank you for what you're doing. What I'd like to do is, I know Senator Leland Yee couldn't make it tonight, this evening here. I think he's probably in Sacramento still. He's at the rally in San Francisco, so that's good. But his district director and representative is here, Dan Lieberman. Dan?
Ladies and gentlemen, it is absolutely lovely to see all of you here today. I was sort of expecting maybe 50, maybe 60 people, but no. What we see here, this is an honest-to-God mob, and that's exactly what we want to see. Ladies and gentlemen, is that mobs just like this are are organizing throughout this county and throughout this state, because the people of California are standing up and saying that education is, as it always should be, our top priority. Now, for those of you who don't know, first, a little bit about myself. My mother's a teacher, actually. Was a teacher, recently retired, taught over at Chabot College in East Bay for 25 years. So when Arnold Schwarzenegger comes out and says that he believes that some teachers are expendable, as far as I'm concerned, he's talking about my mother. And I am not going to take that for 1 minute. I'm just so happy. That is why I work for Senator Leland Yee. The senator, for those of you who don't know, started his political career in the San Francisco School Board, and ever since then has remained dedicated to children and to education. And that is why in all his years, all 8 years in Sacramento, he has not voted for one cut in education. And he has already said this year, and will stand firm to it, he will not vote for one as long as the good people of this district continue to return him to Sacramento. Yeah. What we need out of you, what we need, as Assemblyman Hill said, is we need to make sure you keep in touch with your elected officials. And Lord knows, well, you're one of them, and I work for another. So we're on the team. But this is something that has to go throughout the state, because Lord knows politicians don't do the right thing just because. They do it because you tell them they have to. That's how things get done. So what today must be is it must be a call to action, and it must be one that continues day after day, week after week, until we have a budget that reflects our values as a state. Yeah. It is vital that we properly fund education, and not just because our children deserve it, but because it is necessary for our economic future. The idea of cutting back education to save a few bucks in an effort to make until the economy gets better, it's completely backwards. The economy gets better because we have an educated workforce. That's why we have a tech industry. That's why we have a biotech industry. And that's what will lead California out of this economic slump and back into the good days. Yeah! I want to see the energy here day after day, week after week. I want to see it in Sacramento. I want to see it pushing all of our elected officials, and that is how we will do right by the children of this state. Yeah.